Joseph.
I'm Brandy.
And now we're going to learn our 7th section. Alright, so this is a technique that I learned taking a hair coloring class. The reason why we teach this to y'all is because y'all always need, from my experience, this is not saying everybody needs it, just my experience from a teacher, y'all do better with like a roadmap. The cool thing about foils is it's totally creative. You can do any kind of placement you want. You can do however you want. You can do slices, you can do weaves, you can do both. You can do 1 on one side, 7 on another side. I mean, the possibilities are endless. There isn't a map for highlights. What it really comes down to is your consultation with you and your client, whatever your client wants. So for example, like Brandy's hair, that could be foiled. That is a type of foil placement. So you could do 7 foils back to back with no hair in between right there in that one spot, and that's how you get that effect. So it doesn't necessarily mean dark light, dark light, dark light. It could be anything. So you could be as creative as you want with your foils, but I've learned being a teacher, having y'all section it out beforehand gives y'all a little more confidence, gives y'all a little bit more of a vision of where to place your foils. So with that being said, I think a 7 section is very well taught and well needed for y'all to follow a plan. And then when you get out there in the real world, when you don't need it so much, you can kind of get rid of it and kind of do your own thing and freehand and place foils. My only thing that I try to teach y'all is just remember, for every action, there's a reaction. So if you place too many foils on one side and not the other side, that means one side's going to be lighter and one side's going to be darker. That might be what your client wants, or that might be a horrible, horrible mistake. I believe that there are no mistakes in color, just bad consultations. So as long as it's what your client wants and you meet their expectations and everything's cool, then you did exactly what you were supposed to do. Now, if you winged it, didn't have any game plan, didn't know what to do, didn't listen to your client, and now she's crying, then that's on you. Okay? So all the 7 sections going to do is help you and guide you. It makes your highlights blend more seamlessly. While doing a regular 4 section, it just looks like highlight, 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 and you can see the placement. Why these? Because they are more triangular shaped, and you'll see what I mean when we teach you. Your highlights blend seamlessly better together, so it's harder to see that line and where that disconnection is. So that's why I like it. Anything else you want to add about it?
Notice how you said that they blend really well together. When I was in school, you could see like everybody, they literally had lines. It was, you could section the hair up and there was just like a blonde line going straight across. So we didn't really know the 7 section yet. So I only learned that recently, but it does, it you know, it blends, you know, it flows through the hair a lot nicer. So you don't just see just like harsh lines straight across.
Cool. So now what we're going to do is demo the 7 section. So have fun. Hello everybody. Look how beautiful I am. Alright, so what we're going to do today is we're going to learn how to 7 section. A lot of students and people get discouraged by highlights or foil placements because there's no real roadmap to follow. My rule of thumb is just do a proper consultation with your client, and together you and your client will figure out what the proper vision is for their highlights. But I've also learned that some people need that roadmap to help them along the way. Some people do a 4 section and they highlight going from bottom to top on each section. The reason why I don't like that sectioning is because you have harsh lines. So if your client does wear pigtails or decides to pin half their hair up, there's always these gaps. So they're not as noticeable when the hair is down, but when the hair is up, you can kind of see how there's not the marriage of those pieces right here on these creases. So I discovered doing a 7 section gives a proper roadmap, and it makes your highlights blend together. So instead of having squares and lines, the 7 section deals a lot with triangle partings. So what happens using the triangle partings is your highlights actually melt into each other. So you get a very seamless look at the end. So I'm going to teach you how to properly section for the 7 section. So to begin with, we start off with our basic 4 section. The reason why is this is for balance and control, to make sure that the hair is equal on each side, things like that. So we're going to start with the front. So what we do is we're gonna release one of our sections here. I'm gonna use the arch of the eyebrow going straight back. I'm gonna draw a line. Okay, you wanna keep it nice and straight. After I get that line, I'm gonna pin this piece up below it. I like to try to keep my sections as clean as possible. That way I don't lose control. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Take the arch of the eyebrow and just go straight back with it. Again, making sure that your lines are nice and clean. The cleaner and neater you are, the more precise the overall look looks. It comes out more clean. I always twist my ends in. That's the way I was taught, just to also make your sectioning look clean, because you don't want to leave your ends hanging out. And then if you're doing something like a low light, jeopardizing the ends if they're hanging all over. So in the front, we have 3 sections now. Cool. Now we're gonna work on the back. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop one of these sections. It doesn't matter which side. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work from this point, the end of this square up here, and I'm gonna draw a diagonal line just going across, okay? So you can drop this one too, because this was just to keep us balanced and control, so we're already balanced because of this square on top, okay? So I'm gonna start here, and then I'm just gonna draw a diagonal, just like that. Keep it nice and clean too. So just like that. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on this other side. I'm gonna start right here at this corner of this square and draw a diagonal going this way. Again, keep it nice and clean. So you have that line. So what you're left with is a triangle subsection. All right, so now we have a triangle. Tuck my ends in. Put my clip. And there's that section right here. Now, the next section is I'm gonna take the tip of this triangle and I'm gonna go all the way down to the corner of the neck, okay? Just a straight shot. All right, so I'm gonna demo here and I'm gonna go all the way down. I wanna make sure it ends right there in that corner. So I'm gonna get kind of in here a little bit. Sorry, I know you can't see, but I can't see. All right, just like that. Okay, so I'm gonna pin up this side. Again, making sure to get all our ends into there. And then I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. This tip of the triangle is gonna go right here into the corner of the neck. Sorry. Corner, corner. Do that really quick. Sometimes I place my finger where I want the cone to end. So if I shoot for my finger, it can get on point. Sometimes it's a little off point, just depending on their comb's mood. Always make sure your sections are clean. You don't want it to be crooked or wavy or anything like that, because then you're gonna disrupt the flow of your highlights. Finally, this piece right here in the middle just gets pinned up. Just clip it. and that is the 7 section. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this way, with this placement, all our highlights will melt and blend together because of these points. Because my highlights will go diagonally down, they'll go up. So even right here on the neckline, it won't be harsh because of these points. They'll melt into each other. Even right here, like if she decides to wear pigtails or wear her hair half up, half down, all the highlights are melting together. So this way you have a more flawless, seamless look. And I just prefer it that way better. It's an easier roadmap to follow. Cool. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna teach you how to place your highlights.